Hi there, welcome to Jujubee DIY. I'm Sarah. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I have 8 brand new gingerbread DIYs you're not going to want to miss. And I'm teaming up with my friend Jackie from Crafting in a Mimi's World. So if you want to see what I made, stay tuned. For our first DIY, I'm going to use this milk can I picked up at Michael's, and I gave it a couple of coats of spray paint in this warm caramel color. Next, I went in with a pencil and I drew my face. And I'm going to show you how I make my faces, my gingerbread faces, in case you have never seen that before. So I start out with a teardrop shape, and then I make a bigger section, and that will be black. And I'm just using my Posca paint markers. I love these paint markers. They have a nice tip to them, and they're really easy to use. So I'm just going to color in this top portion of my eye. So probably, I don't know, 3/4 of the eye I'll color in black. And then I'm going to add some little eyelashes here. And in that bottom portion, I'm going to kind of cut that in half, and I will leave that for now. Next, I'm going to draw on my mouth. And so because I want the kind of opening of my mouth, she's got her mouth open really wide and smiling. So I want that back part to be black. So I just figured that I would use my paint pen here and do the black part first instead of coming back to it. And I will do, the eyes the same on both sides. I'm just doing one side to show you for, demonstration purposes. So I'm just going to fill this in with the black marker, and I'll let that dry. Once the black is dry, I'm going to go in with a white paint pen, and I'm going to add some white to the very bottom portion of our eye. And that just is, the whites of the eye there. And then I will add a couple of little dots for some eye shine, one bigger dot and then a littler dot. You can do anything you'd like with your eyes. There are a lot of different options on Pinterest. Just go over there and take a peek, and you'll get lots of inspiration for different kinds of eyes if you want to do something different. Next, I am going to use some crimson chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm going to fill in the tongue and the nose. Now, if I had a paint marker that was red, I would have used the paint marker in this situation, but I don't. So I'm just going to use the next best thing, which is just some paint and a paint brush. So we'll just fill in her little nose there. And it did take a couple of coats to make that nice and opaque. Next, I'm going to take this pink color and I'm going to fill in her cheeks. And I just did 2 little circles or a little circle on each side. Next, we're going to fill in the middle part of the eye, and that is the color. That's what I like to do, is just that color in the middle. And I used Agave from Waverly to do that. Next, I took my white paint pen and I did a little bit of dripping frosting all around her head and some polka dots at the top. Next, I'm going to take some baker's twine. This is about 4 strands of baker's twine, and I'm just going to make a cute little bow right here at the top of the milk can. And as you can see, I didn't quite get that filled in all the way, but that's okay, because we're going to put florals in there and you won't ever see that it didn't get painted. You can go back and paint the inside of your can if you like. I always put lintels inside my floral arrangements so that my florals will fit in there and stay nice. And this is how I arranged it. I think she turned out so cute and will go with my gingerbread stuff perfectly. For our second DIY, I'm going to use these round circle plaques from Walmart. I painted them white and then used a pencil to create a swirl pattern so that I can turn these into peppermints. I'm going to use the Waverly chalk paint in the color crimson to paint in the red areas. So I've got red, white, and this took a couple of coats of paint. I'm going to put those aside and let them dry. And while those are drying, I'm going to open up these little containers. They are super cute from the Dollar Tree. It was a 2-pack, and they had these cute little lids to them. And I thought these would be perfect for a little tier tray stand. And so that's what we're going to make with these. I painted the lids of these that warm caramel color, let it dry, and then went around the edge with some puff paint to make it look like frosting. And you'll see how that turns out here in just a moment. So going back to our peppermints, they're dry now. And so we're going to add these glass candle holders I picked up at the Dollar Tree. I'm using the Gorilla Grip equivalent to E6000. And I am going to attach these glass candle holders to the peppermint. And then I'm going to add the stand or the top gingerbread part to the top of these candle holders. And this is how they turned out. I think they're going to be so cute on a tier tray. So once again, I am teaming up with my sweet friend Jackie from Crafting in a Mimi's World. We have been doing this for, I think, 3 years now. She is an amazing crafter all around. She does awesome Dollar Tree crafts, but she has got it down pat when it comes to gingerbread DIYs. So if you love the gingerbread stuff as much as I do, you're going to want to go over to her channel and check her out if you haven't already. Definitely subscribe to her channel and tell her that I sent you. I hope you go check her out. For this DIY, I'm going to use this little gingerbread ornament from the Dollar Tree. I washed it out really well and then let it dry thoroughly. I added 3 packages of hot cocoa powder and then filled the rest of it up with marshmallows. And won't this make a cute little decoration for your plates at Christmas time? Now, it's too heavy to hang on a tree, but it is still super cute and festive and would make a cute little gift. You could add all kinds of other little goodies inside these for a yummy hot cocoa treat. And who wouldn't love to receive one of these little gingerbread men on Christmas Day? Just don't let them sit too long before you give them away, because it's not a sealed container and your marshmallows will dry out if you do. But isn't this so cute? Tell me what you would put inside your gingerbread man. For this DIY, we are going to use this air dry clay from Sculpey. I picked this up at Walmart, and this is probably one of the better air dry clays that I've tried. I really like it. It stays nice and moist until you need to use it, as long as you keep it in a good, Ziploc container or package. And I am going to just knead it a couple of times in my hands, and then I am going to roll it out on a piece of glass. This is just a piece of glass that was in a photo frame, and that way it just is nice and smooth. And then I'm going to use those popsicle sticks to make sure that I get a nice even layer. Now I am using a rolling pin that is made for clay, but you can use anything round to spread your clay out, and then just use a knife or anything sharp and long that you have to cut your clay down to make it a nice rectangle size. So I'm going to trim this down on all the sides, make them even. I'm using a T-square here to do this, but you don't have to have any of these tools. You can just use what you have on hand. And I am going to create 2 rectangles out of this. Now, I think having something thin and flat, like one of those scraper tools from the Dollar Tree, is really essential here. So I would definitely suggest having something like that if you're going to do this project. But other than that, you don't need any special tools. So I'm going to pull one of those up so that I can just work on one. And I am going to make little houses. So I got onto Pinterest and just looked up little gingerbread houses and got ideas for different shapes and different sizes. And that is kind of where I'm going with this. So I'm going to cut this down. Like I said, you could use a box knife or an X-Acto knife. I use an X-Acto knife here in a little bit to cut out the doors and the windows, and that makes it really easy. But you could use like just a regular kitchen knife to do this. You really don't need any special tools to do this project. So I'm just going to create little houses out of this clay, and then I'll set them aside and let actually, I'm not going to set them aside and let them dry. They're going to go on a jar. So I'll show you that here in just a second. I just want to really make sure that you can see how I am cutting out the windows and the doors. And then, you can see that red paper in the corner. I had cut out a little heart with a punch that I had so that I could make a little template and create a heart in my house too. So I hope that you enjoy this process, and we'll be back here in just a second together. All right, so I picked up this jar from the Dollar Tree, but you could use any jar you want. You could use a mason jar. Just make sure that your houses are the right size for your jar. And I am just going to press my house down firmly, but not so much that I'm putting, finger marks or anything into my clay. But I'm going to continue making little houses in different sizes to fill up this whole entire jar, just going all the way around. And once I get that done, I'm going to let these dry. So mine actually did fall off of the jar. So you might want to add some little, I don't know, something around it so that they don't break or fall off. However, mine did fall off, but they didn't break or anything, but they were sitting on a table, so it wasn't a big deal. So I gave all my houses, once they were dry, a coat of the Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut. And now I'm going to go in with that E6000. Well, it's not E6000. It's the Gorilla Glue equivalent to E6000. I'm not sure what it's called. I think Gorilla Grip or something like that. And I am going to put my houses on with that glue because hot glue is not going to work at all with this project. So you definitely need some sort of a glue that will stick to the glass surface. Once all of my houses are attached and dried, I'm going to go in with some of this tulip puff paint. You can use any puff paint that you can find in the store. And I'm going to decorate my little gingerbread houses. Again, I just went to Pinterest and looked up ideas on decorating gingerbread houses and just got lots of inspiration and just used some ideas that I found there. So this is really an opportunity for you to get really creative and just have fun decorating your little houses on your jar. And here is a look at all of the little houses once they're decorated and the puff paint is dry. I think these turned out super cute. Next, we're going to take some Mod Podge. Doesn't matter if you've got matte, glossy, or satin. Just any Mod Podge will work here. And we're going to add Mod Podge to the whole entire area inside our jar. Now, I'm using a nice thick coat, not super thick because I don't want it to be gloppy and I don't want it to be running, but I want a nice thick coat of Mod Podge inside my jar. And I'm not too worried about going all the way to the base of the jar because the jar lid is going to cover up that bottom part once I put that back on. So I didn't really want there to be any interference, and I didn't go all the way to the bottom. Next, I have some of this fake snow from the Dollar Tree, and it is sand, the white sand that you can pick up from the Dollar Tree. Yeah, those two are what's mixed in there. But you could use Epsom salts or any other combination of glitter and sand or salt to cover the inside of your jar. And this is going to give it that really pretty frosted effect. I painted the bottom of the jar in that warm caramel color, added some puff paint for decoration, and now I'm going to add a tea light candle to the inside of my jar. Next, I'll just screw that jar back on, and that's pretty much the project. So you could add extra sparkly lights in there if you want, anything you want. Next, I'm just going to add some greenery to the top, and this is how it turned out. I think that this project is so cute, and what a great budget-friendly way to decorate your home. I love how this turned out, and I definitely love the ambiance at nighttime. Moving right along, we are going to use that air dried clay again and Gingerbread Men cookie cutters. You can find Gingerbread Men cookie cutters pretty much anywhere these days. They're very popular and easy to find. So just go pick out one that you like and you can create the same project. So I wasn't sure how many gingerbread men I needed, so I just cut out quite a few. I figured if I had more than I needed, I could use them in other places in other projects. So I wasn't too worried about cutting out too many. So I just kind of push down those edges a little bit, but you can see there's still a little bit of an edge to the gingerbread men, and so I'm just going to use some sandpaper here just to make sure everything looks nice and is finished off. I gave everything a coat of the Waverly chalk paint in the color nutmeg, or I'm sorry, not nutmeg, but hazelnut. And now I'm going to go in with the Tim Holtz Distress ink in the color walnut stain. Now, alternately, if you don't have this ink or don't want to use it this way, you can use a darker color of paint. Just water it down and use a dry brush to rub the paint onto the edges of your gingerbread men, and it will create a similar effect. Now I just took a little round jar here in the size that I wanted to create my little wreath, and I am going to add my gingerbread men around this, and that's why I wasn't sure how many I would need until I actually did the project. But as you can see, once they're all laid out and glued together with that Gorilla Glue E6000, they look so cute. Now I'm just going to wrap some twine in between the gingerbread men, and I had seen this project on Pinterest using real cookies, and I thought this would make a really cute wreath, and it would be fun to use the fake gingerbread cookies. So I think this is a really fun little wreath, and it would be a really great little gift to give, easy to make, and it would be a great hostess gift. So I created a little greenery swag using some, like a cinnamon stick and just some greenery that I had on hand. And I'm just going to glue that down to my gingerbread men and create a bow for the top of the cinnamon stick. I'm just going to use some baker's twine doubled up to create that little bow. And then I will tie off the top part of the twine there, and that will create the hanger, and then that project is done. I think this is so simple, yet just so pretty and elegant, and would look perfect in a kitchen or anywhere else where you would like a little decoration. For this DIY, we're going to use that air dry clay again. I'm going to show you how to use it in a different way. I got these silicone molds off of Temu, and they are different little gingerbread men. And I am going to start off by rubbing the mold with a little bit of cornstarch, and that's just to make sure that the air dry clay doesn't get stuck in the mold. Now, if you do this project and you choose to use a non-food item in these molds, I'm not sure if they're made for food or not, but if they are made for food and you don't use food items in it, I would probably not use food in it from here forward. Just note that these are kind of a crafting, mold. I'm going to push that air dry clay into my mold, and I'm going to add it little by little so that I don't overfill my mold. I'm going to press that down nice and firm, and I'm going to use that little rolling pin there just to make sure it is really down in there good. I want to make sure I've got a really good impression, and then I'm going to trim off any edges, and then I will pull it out, and I will let this dry on a flat surface. And look how cute this is. And then once it's dry, you just take a paintbrush and just paint these up however you want. I use the Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut for the body, and the crimson red from Waverly for any other little accessories that isn't icing. So I think these are really super easy and fun. You can use these in all sorts of places. You can make ornaments out of them, and they really are substantial. That air dry clay dries really super firm, and these would be great little ornaments for your tree. And I just think they're so cute. For this DIY, I'm going to use this marquee letter from the Dollar Tree. I picked out a letter C because my last name is Collins, and so it fits with my family. I just use that scraper tool to pop off the back of the marquee letter here, and then I'm just going to pull the bulbs out. It was really easy to pull these out. I was just being a little more gentle than I needed to because I didn't want to break anything, but they're actually just regular little light bulbs, and they came right out. Next, I'm going to push out the little plastic white bulbs, and I'm just going to use the end of that scraper tool to just push those down so they'll come out. Once they're all out, I gave them a couple of coats of the warm caramel color, and then did some puff paint decoration in the front. Next, I'm going to add some fake candies that I picked up at Temu. I did buy these with my own money, and I just love the selection that they have over there. But you can also get a lot of these items on Amazon as well. Next, I have these little sprinkles. These are fake sprinkles that came from Michael's. And I wanted to show you guys this little tool that I've made. It is literally a ballpoint pen, retractable pen. That I have made sure that the pen part of it is inside, not out. And then I just use some of this dental wax. You can get this at Walmart for super cheap, and you get a ton of it. And so I just use a little ball of this dental wax, and I just put it on the end of this pen. Now they have tools like jewel pickers, it's what they're called, that you can buy, but this was free to me because my daughter has braces, so I already had the wax. I mean, it's not like used wax that she's used in her mouth or anything, but we had the wax packages, and so it was a free little tool for me, and it works really good to pick up these teeny tiny little peppermints. And so I'm just adding these with a little bit of hot glue to the front of my C here, and I'm just going to continue going all the way around. Look at how cute this is turning out. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put those little light bulbs back in, and then I will add the lights in the back and put it together, all together, just put it right back. Next, I'm going to add one of these cute little gingerbread men that we made in the last project, and I'm just gluing that on with hot glue. I did add a little more hot glue to the back to make sure it was secure. And here you can see I'm just adding those light bulbs back in and putting the cover back on. And then that's all there is to this project. It turns out really cute. I do have to say that mine didn't have batteries in it, and I didn't realize that until I went to go turn it on, and I was like, oh no, there's no batteries. So make sure you grab batteries for yours, but even without it being lit, it's still super cute. For our last project, I'm going to use this wooden birdhouse from Walmart. I thought it looked like a cute little gingerbread house, so I thought, why not? I gave it the gingerbread makeover with the Waverly hazelnut color as the base, and then went in with some white puff paint to add some fake snow. While that was still wet, I added those small peppermint pieces on to the roof. Now I painted a small 1.5-inch wood piece that I picked up from Michael's into a peppermint piece as well. And I have these wood peppermint beads from Temu. And actually, I don't think they're wood, they're plastic. I don't know why I said wood, but the plastic peppermint beads from Temu. And I'm just going to hot glue those to the top of my roof line. And I wanted those to kind of stand up, and they look so cute like that. And there they are, all glued on. So adorable. Next, I'm going to add these fake little gumdrops around the very front of our birdhouse on this little raised area. I thought it looked like a perfect little snow line, so that's why I painted it white and then added a little bit more of that puff paint around the edges to kind of just make it look like it was snow there. I used some of these little candy canes that I made out of polymer clay, but you can purchase these on Amazon, Etsy, Temu. There's a lot of places that you can get these little tiny candy canes like this, and you don't have to make them yourself. But if you do want to try making them yourself, just look on YouTube for candy cane polymer clay tutorials, and you'll find lots of different tutorials. Next, I'm going to add another little piece that I made out of polymer clay, and I'm going to turn this into a lollipop using these cute little sticks. They're like peppermint sticks or whatever, different colors, and I got those from Temu as well. Now around the door, I'm going to use these small red and white peppermint pieces that came out of that same package. I just pulled the red and white ones out. And in between them, I'm going to add a little heart, and this heart came out of a package I'll show you in a minute, that came from Temu, and it's got all kinds of like little peppermints and hearts and gingerbread men and gingerbread houses and snowflakes and all kinds of stuff. But I think that they're kind of for like fingernails, mostly is what a lot of people use them for, is to put them on fingernails, but they work great for adding decoration to your faux gingerbread houses. So if you find these little packages on Amazon or Temu, they're definitely worth picking up. Next, I'm going to cover that little hole with a peppermint, like a fake peppermint that came out of that one package. And as you can see, here's that one package I was talking about. And then I'm just going to add peppermints and little snowflakes around my gingerbread house to kind of make that one piece feel cohesive. So I didn't want it to just be a random peppermint piece sitting there, but I wanted to cover that little hole where the bird stand was. I just pulled that out with a pair of pliers. And I'm just going to continue decorating my little gingerbread house until I am happy with it. So I added a little gingerbread lady to our gingerbread house, and I love how this turned out. I think it looks good enough to eat. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. Make sure you go check out Jackie's channel. Thank you so much, Jackie, for partnering with me again this year. It is such a pleasure to work with you, my friend. And I hope that you guys will let me know which project was your favorite from today. Have a happy, healthy, and blessed day, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.